In the weeks that episodes of X-Men 97 came out, I watched the world lose its mind. I assumed people were overreacting, but I was dead wrong. If anything, I don't think the hype was high enough. In case you didn't know, because I sure as hell didn't, you don't need to watch the original series to enjoy or understand this one. Just putting that out there so more people watch it. The biggest question I have about this series is, did it revive the X-Men and the fanbase? The last X-Men project to be released on screen was Dark Phoenix, a movie I saw in an empty theater on opening day. I kinda lost interest in the X-Men over the years, which is unfortunate because I grew up with these characters. Whether it was from watching the movies, random episodes of the cartoon, or playing the X-Men video games. X-Men were the shit growing up. Because back then, X-Men and Spider-Man were the only bangers Marvel was putting out. After watching X-Men 97, I was reminded how much I loved these characters, their abilities, and their overall chemistry. Not to mention, there are so many stories and antagonists associated with this group of characters that the possibilities are endless. I just went from watching X-Men 97 to the original X-Men movie, and my god, I didn't realize how misused Cyclops was. He always felt more like a side character in all the movies. This Cyclops not only feels like a man with tremendous power, but he actually feels like a leader with differing views from other mutants and humans. Kind of like our leader from the Avengers. I like that this series fleshes out its characters to make them stand out amongst the rest of the X-Men. Rogue is a character I never thought I would enjoy this much, but her arc in this series was incredibly captivating and made me want to see a similar iteration of the character in live action. Every mutant feels essential to the team and manages to feel like they're part of a family.
Family, 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 family.
For once, all these characters share equal value with Wolverine. Of course, I think he is an essential part of the X-Men, but it's nice to see that characters like Gambit and Cyclops are just as important, even though Gambit got done a little dirty at one point, but I won't get into that. I cannot tell you how quick I binged this series once I watched the first episode. This is probably one of the first comic book series that holds up against anime in terms of its animation and fight scenes. I've always preferred comic book cartoons over anime, but I can't deny that anime usually has far better fight scenes and exciting character moments. X-Men 97 follows that standard and makes you get hyped for these characters and what they're capable of. The relationship between Charles and Magneto isn't that different from other iterations, but I felt that Magneto is a more compelling character in this series than he was in the original X-Men movies. For the most part, I found myself rooting for this character. Magneto's always kind of been an antagonist in the X-Men stories, but not really so much a villain. He's always been in the gray area in terms of good and evil, but I think it's easy to understand where he's coming from. One of my favorite things about this series was how it made the X-Men fit in the grand scale of its own Marvel universe. The X-Men take on world-ending threats that require the attention of such a powerful team. It made the mutants feel like an essential part of this universe, and you're able to sympathize for them and their struggles as someone that isn't always accepted, unlike some of the other Marvel heroes. I also just have to say that the appearance of other Marvel characters didn't overstay their welcome, and I think that's important in a time where comic book media relies too much on cameos. Watching Morph transform into different Marvel characters in each episode was a really nice touch, and it didn't feel forced. So now the big question is, did this series reignite the X-Men fanbase? And I want to say yes. Not to say that X-Men fans were gone, but it was nice to see people get hyped once again. The fights, character introductions, and theme song reignited my love for these characters in a way I didn't think was possible. Also, Cyclops is the GOAT. I don't know why it took so long for him to reach this status, but it's official now. This character is a total badass in this series. Let me know what you thought of this series down below, and did it reignite your love for the X-Men? I feel like now I need to talk about the movies. This is gonna be tough. So yeah. Bye!